I'm the highly infectious Patrick Siebert here with brilliant military strategist Brian Fiore. Together we just got played, and we're at Cloak Blaster in Orlando, Florida, just like always. Tonight we're going to review the #2 game on Board Game Geek, at least it's #2 as of the recording, Terra Mystica. Brian, tell us a little bit about Terra Mystica.
Sure. Terra Mystica, it's a 2 to 5 player game. It's fantasy themed, and I would kind of say it's like a mix of Monopoly and worker placement, if you were to combine the two of those, with the caveat that as far as the Monopoly goes, there's no roll and move, and there's also no randomness almost whatsoever in the game. So essentially, the game takes place over a period of about 6 turns, in which you start off as one of 14 different races, and you begin your settlement and terraforming all the area around it, so that you could then build in a fashion similar to Monopoly, like your apartments and then your hotels and everything like that. And in this case, you're putting down your dwellings and then your trade centers, your strongholds, and your monasteries and things like that. And so once you get enough of those, you get more victory points, and there's a victory point track that goes around. There's also a few different sources of revenue that you have to manage in the game. There's gold coins, there's your worker token cubes, and then you've also got like a purple power mechanic that goes from bowl to bowl in the game. So what's one thing that you would say that you enjoyed about Terra Mystica?
What I enjoyed about Terra Mystica was the player options. I feel like you always have something you can do, and they're all very, very different. You can terraform land, or you can build on your properties, or you can try to get more devotion from your cultists. And there's a lot of choices, a lot of really fun decisions to make. And I think that's important, especially in this game. That's this game's strong suit for me. And if there's something that you really like about it, it's
different. It's kind of refreshing that for a fantasy themed game, you can have 14 different races all come together, but there's going to be no battles, no player confrontation. However, you still have the chance to be passive aggressive against the other players and doing your settlements and terraforming the land and everything like that. What's one thing that you'd say is something you didn't like?
I didn't like the Band-Aid mechanic. We were talking about that a moment ago, and it seems like there's a few mechanics that don't go perfectly smoothly, and they kind of had to put them in to fix something that's wrong. You mentioned the power bowls before. There's 3 bowls, and you have to shift your power around inside these bowls before you can actually use them, and that's just one of them. There are other ones that cause problems too, but it's just not perfectly smooth for me, and it didn't feel like it really went with the theme of it. So as per a normal format, if there's something that you don't like about it.
The thing that I didn't like about Terra Mystica is that it's mostly, I would say probably 85 to 90% pure strategy, almost no luck or randomness to the game. In the beginning of the game, during setup, there's some random drawing of tiles, and that's good for replayability and to keep things fresh whenever you pull the game out. However, I think part of the strategy or part of the fun for games for me is a good mix of luck and strategy. And I think part of the strategy is actually managing the risk in a lot of games, or managing that luck and what you have to do and how you respond to it. And in this case, it's more of just a sequence of turns that kind of like play out, kind of like chess.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There's something else to mention in the game is there's lots of wood bits. So if you are into wood bits, this is your game.
And that's probably consistent with the theme of the terraforming. There's a lot of trees that probably had to be chopped down.
Yeah, chopped out for it. That's true. That's true.
Again, Terra Mystica. It's available at your local gaming pub or your local gaming store, and I think the the manufacturer suggested retail price is somewhere around 79
suggested, and I think you can buy it for like 54, 55 bucks.
Okay, again, Terra Mystica.
This is Brian and Patrick for Just Got Played. Thank you very, very much for watching. So the thing you mentioned earlier about, there's not a lot of, direct aggression. Make it a good family game, I would think. You bust this out and, the whole family can play it, and nobody's really going to get super mad at each other because nobody's going to screw somebody over in the end.
Right, no violence. There's enough of that in daily TV and stuff, right?
Right. Well, you're a family man.
Right.
One thing I did notice is There's a lot of boobs. A lot of boobs in the artwork.
Well, that's definitely how families get started, I guess. And
I didn't think about that. That's true.
still family oriented.
I never thought about that. That's a great excuse.